here for another segment of True Crime with Just Julie. We are filming this on 6/13/24, and I hope y'all appreciate the sort of farmy school bus vibe today. That's the energy we're carrying into today. So all right, let's get started. All right, so first we got some hot goss going. Some fresh off the hot press information here. Randy Gregory has a lawsuit currently. And maybe because of, it's not clear why, but he's not attending the mandatory mini camp for the Bucks. Apparently due to the lawsuit, it's not great, and it could cost him like $100K. So not necessarily wise either, but he may be a little tied up in court. I'm not sure. Todd Bowles said he'll deal with it, which I have no doubt he will. Let's see. Gregory was fined over $500K in 2023. That for taking medicine for his social anxiety and PTSD that includes THC, and I believe that's prescribed, but I'm not 100% sure. And obviously THC is currently banned in the NFL, and Gregory was not granted accommodations after they were requested, so he's currently battling them out in court. This feels like a very timely and relevant situation to work out, and I'm glad Gregory is the one brave enough to do it. So we will be following what happens there, and hopefully he can get his butt to minicamp so he doesn't get charged even more. All right, so Jaloid Samuel, this one is crazy, and I would say this is the craziest story this week, but it's not even close. But anyway. So Jaloid Samuel, there's this new Netflix doc. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's called The Footballer, His Wife, and the Crash, and it is wild. Premier League player Jaloid Samuel allegedly passed away in a car crash in 2018. Allegedly, his body was burnt to the point that his dental records were used to identify him, which I was kind of surprised to hear because you often hear so much how people try to burn bodies to avoid criminal behavior being detected, like a sort of cleanser for DNA and things like that. And often it doesn't get hot enough in a car or a house or anywhere to actually like burn the body that much. So I was kind of surprised by that, but I'm not a arsonist specialist or anything, so what do I know? But anyway, apparently they used his dental records to identify him. His first wife, and if you're wondering why I said first, we'll get to that. She owns the DNA samples of her the samples that are allegedly of her husband. He's not allegedly her husband, but the remains that are allegedly his, and she's not sharing them. So that's a good start. So Samuel had a second secret wife, like in another country. He sort of ran away over there, and he actually introduced the two women at one point, and I think the second wife knew who the first wife was. It's a mess. Okay. But yeah. So his second secret wife, not so secret anymore, and his sister, think he's still alive due to the issue behind the DNA and the other questionable evidence. So the plot thickens. And what's the other questionable evidence? I remember, oh yeah, his cell phone was not on him, and they didn't locate where it was, and there's paper in the car that did not burn. So they're saying, like, how hot was it actually? Yeah. Like, I never thought we'd be arguing about this, but here we are, so let's see what the real truth is. He is known to be able to go new places and establish a life. So most of the time, I would say that would be really, really hard. But this guy seems like if anybody is up to the task, it's him. With the Cincinnati Red fans, there's an incident, and the reason that I posted Bobby Wagner taking out the guy in the pink smoke is because it's a moment that lives in history. Forever and Always, and it's fantastic. But this is pretty good too. I'm just gonna say this. So the Cincinnati Reds. 19-year-old William Hendon was taken down via taser at the Cincinnati Reds game on Tuesday night. So, Hendon ran onto the field. He did a backflip and he landed it too, the judge said. Long story. Uh, he did a backflip, started running again. The police were like chasing after him, and all of a sudden he tased him and he like whooped to the ground. Um, the pictures they had on are pretty good. So definitely check out that video if you want to see it. Yeah, so anyway, he stays on the ground. Hendon appeared in court on Wednesday and he pled not guilty to the misdemeanor counts of criminal trespass and obstructing official business. And as if the tasing isn't enough. Anyway, he's just so silly. Like, he's like 19 and like about to be a sophomore in college. Like, anyway, but he was released from custody Wednesday morning and he's ordered to stay away from the ballpark. And he's going to be back in court on July 3rd. So that was that incident. So in Hong Kong, in a World Cup qualifier game, 3 fans were arrested. They turned their back on the pitch and were not standing for the Chinese national anthem. 2 men and 1 woman, 18 to 31 years in age, are facing 3 years in jail and a fine of $6,400 for this crime. It is considered a crime in Hong Kong to disrespect the national anthem. The punishment is a result of crackdowns in 2020 of democracy protests. Always a good time in China. So, boy. Okay, so Alexander Zverev, last Friday, Alexander, he settled a domestic abuse case with his former partner out of court. It took 4 years to resolve this whole thing legally. He has agreed to pay 162K to a German state. I guess Germany has states, and he's paying some of it to the state. I think probably a lot like how would happen here if you were in state court, but I don't know for sure. And 54K to a charitable organization. This is related to an alleged 2020 incident where Zarev allegedly pushed his SO into a wall and then choked her. Last October, Alexander contested the penalty order that included the fines. And a penalty order in Germany is a lot like a plea deal in America. But the judge decided to drop the case because the lawyers of both parties were going to agree, and of course, Sarah agreed to pay the fine. So it looks like this is finally put to bed. I don't think we've had a tennis player yet, or maybe we have, but I don't think so. So that could be a first. But anyway, Patrick Patterson. So once again, we have a victim of a crime instead of a perpetrator, which is sometimes refreshing in this lineup. This is one of those times. So an ex-NBA player, another one, had his phone burgled. I think this is like the third and that I've been talking about for recently. I'm pretty sure it is the third, either current or former NBA player with a house in LA getting it burgled. By 2 men wearing masks, gloves, and all black outfits in LA on midnight, June 7th. So Patterson's security system caught the men rummaging through his home, and 2 bags were allegedly taken. It's unclear exactly what was taken, and the men fled the scene with what appears to be 2 bags and a key. All right, okay. It's unclear if this is the most ridiculous, awful story of the week, but it's high on the list. It is definitely right up there. A suit filed last year had a new court filing this year. as of last Friday, because a woman who was initially suing Xavier Howard is now adding another defendant onto the trial, the 18-year-old. Uh, we'll get into that. Um, so now there'll be two people suing Howard, or at least they're filing for that. So anyway, what are they suing about in the first place? Allegedly, Howard sent an explicit photo, if you know what I mean, to a male teenager, the one who's trying to enter into the lawsuit, um, of the teen's mom. Yeah, he sent Xavier allegedly sent a dirty photo to a teenager of his own mother. Um, because she refused to delete a pregnancy. Ugh. A woman, not the same woman, not the teen's mom, made this allegation in the lawsuit, along with further allegations that Howard secretly recorded the couple having relations. He also recorded her like one time with her consent, but he shared the different um videos, both like ones that she consented to record and ones that she didn't, to people that she didn't say he could send them to. So honestly, it doesn't matter so much that she, well, either he sent them all. He sent them all, consented and not. Although sending them, she didn't consent to it all, if that makes sense. Okay. Uh Yeah, and apparently he sent a video of her to another woman on Instagram when she rejected him. So this other lady on Instagram, Xavier Howard, was allegedly kind of hitting on her, and when she kind of was like, "No thanks," he sent her allegedly a video of this woman when she didn't consent to it being filmed or sent. So that's interesting. Um, the teen's mom is not planning on suing. Um, and the suit is only requesting 50K of damages, which seems kind of light because I don't think it'll I think it'll cost more than 50K to help this teenager recover from that. But anyway, okay. Next topic. Delonte West, y'all probably heard about this one. West is in trouble, y'all, because most recently he was arrested last Thursday on misdemeanor charges last Thursday morning, for violating the conditions of his release and resisting arrest. He was released Thursday evening on a 2K bond and is expected back in court on June 25th for his initial charges, and again on July 11th for his most recent charges a week ago. So, yeah, so the initial things that was he has two sets of charges, the ones from a while ago and then the ones from a week ago when he ran from the police. And so like a while ago, happening on June 25th, the one that happened a week ago, July 11th. So he's gonna be in court a lot. Which we'll keep track of course. Police spotted West around 1 a.m. on Thursday, and they attempted to serve him a warrant. And the man fled, and officers chased him, and they lost sight of him. And when they found him, he was like unresponsive on the ground after yeah, so they administered Narcan, but it didn't work. So then they brought him to a hospital, and then they did Narcan, so and then it did work. So then they took him to a local detention center. Wes was open about his struggle with bipolar during his NBA career, and it seems like he's sort of been struggling with addiction and possibly like mental health. And so like we're seeing kind of the aftermath of that. And this was kind of cool. Former Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban picked West up at a gas station after photos of him panhandling were released. He did that in 2020. And then Cuban and other NBA affiliated people have been helping him out since then. He went to rehab in 2021. He was actually like working for the rehab, which was, great. But clearly that positive trajectory is not continuing. So hopefully people will still be there for him. It's not uncommon for addicts to continue to relapse and things like that. So hopefully he can find the help he needs. So Saquon Barkley, his dad, Alabe, was arrested last week on firearm charges after a traffic stop in NYC. He was pulling over because he had like an obstructed license plate on his car in the Bronx. And the police found the license plate didn't even belong to his car when they could see it. It belonged to a different car, which is not great, obviously. And he had a loaded firearm that wasn't licensed in New York. It's unclear if it was licensed anywhere, but it definitely wasn't licensed in New York. And the center council. Daddy Barkley said it was his wife's firearm, and he did this because of safety due to who his son is. And the couple come back to the Bronx to visit a lot. So I guess to be protected. Yeah, and so he's charged with possession of ammunition, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a firearm. And he was arraigned last Friday, and bail was set at $15K. Reports dredged up the fact that Alabe was charged in 2000 when he was 19, but that is so small potatoes to me and irrelevant that we're not even going to talk about it. Because, well, yeah, let's drag up all the stuff we did when we were 19. Because if that's like a continuing criminal record with 24 years in the middle. Anyway, the Barkley family used to live in the Bronx when Saquon was born, and they moved to Pennsylvania in 2001, but it appears that they still come back to the Bronx to like visit probably family and things like that. So an unfortunate situation, and hopefully they can resolve that. Larry Allen. So Mr. Larry Allen, HOF, Hall of Fame former offensive lineman, passed away June 3rd on Sunday. Suddenly with family in Mexico on a vacation. He was only 52 years old. I can't even imagine how like traumatic that would be for the family. So our hearts are definitely with the Allen family, and rest in peace, Allen, as well. A cause of death has not yet been revealed. And I'm gonna say this: I'm keeping an eye on Allen and all of the other young. I mean, he's not like super young, like 20 or 30, but he's still young. Men who are passing away in large quantities this year alone. I feel we're ignoring an epidemic of young NFL players dying, and I think we're going to continue to see it. And I don't think we can continue to ignore it because it's just happening way too often. So I want to bring attention to this. I want to bring attention to the overall problem. And of course, again, rest in peace, Alan. Okay, we got some updates. You know, at work, back when I worked in an office, they used to call me the sticky note queen. So that's why I picked this one. We got some good notes here. Okay, football. Brandon McManus. So due to potential honor, doubtful. Okay, I should have. Due to potential honor, the desire to avoid a lawsuit, or possibly something else, the Commanders have paid McManus his entire signing bonus, which they might, really probably didn't have to do. It was paid in 2 installments, and they paid the final installment on June 7th, despite already letting him go. So McManus, despite not playing a single snap for the Commanders, was paid $1.5 million. So that's a pretty good deal. Although he has a lot of problems, so I mean, I would take $1.5 million, but not just so that, I mean, the lawsuit would not love that. That sounds awful. So, hopefully he's held accountable, but clearly not by the Commanders fully. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I put a really cute dog who looks alarmed because pretty sure that's how Isaiah Bugs alleged dogs felt when they were left out in the heat and without proper food and water for however long that he's facing alleged charges for. So that's why I have the scared looking dog. Anyway, so this is the story about Isaiah. He talking about his hookah business. He's been kind of vocal about the suggestion that his business license should be taken away. There's going to be a public hearing on June 25th at 8:30 in the morning to discuss revoking his business license. Bugs requests people sign his petition to keep the business open on change.org. You can check that out if you want. He has already gotten 600 signatures since Monday. Bugs definitely feels passionately about keeping his business open. You can see that on his Facebook page if you want. He had quite a elaborate post on that, and so hopefully this matter can be resolved successfully. Yep, we'll keep an eye on it. All right, Corey Cunningham. On the heels of discussing the late great Larry Allen, I want to double back on young Corey Cunningham. He passed away from self-deletion at just 28 years old. R.I.P. Cunningham. And his former teammate, oh, let me see here. Yes. So Patriots captain David Andrews at the Monday's minicamp had something to say about mental health. Yeah. He brought up Corey, which was really sweet. He said, and I would want to read out his quote because I think it's pretty powerful. He said, "I think it's important to check in on your friends. I lost a good friend, Corey Cunningham, a month or two ago. I had literally just talked to him. We were talking about turkey hunting. I think it's important to check in on people because you don't really know what people are going through or what they're dealing with. Sometimes it's easy to talk and not really talk, if that makes sense. I think that's always an important thing and something that you need to make time for with your friends and your loved ones." So once again, we talk about this topic a lot, one, because it happens a lot, and two, because we really care, because you matter, we all matter, and we all need to stay on this planet. And so please call 988 if you need to talk. They can listen, they can provide resources to you in your area and many other things. And sometimes we all just need a chance to just talk. So if you need that, maybe you don't feel comfortable communicating those things to family. Maybe you only discuss turkey hunting. Call 988 and you can talk about the really serious stuff. Please, if you're having any kind of ideations, please call 988. All right. OJ Simpson. 3 things for OJ. We got 3. His estate executor is currently seeking legal authorization to auction off OJ's personal stuff to cover his outstanding debts. So that could be interesting. That was either today or yesterday. So we'll see how that turns out. Also, the FBI has been dropping a lot of information about a lot of things. I don't know what happened this week, but they've been dropping hundreds of pages on different cases, and OJ is one of them. They released 475 pages on him. And our research department has not hasn't had a chance to delve into that too much, but we absolutely will. So keep tuned in for that. And also there's a new TMZ doc called OJ How He Really Did It, available on Tubi, and it has some huge info on it. Like Al Cowling's allegedly telling a former partner that the M weapon, the knife, is sleeping with the fishes. Spicy. So we have a lot of OJ coming up in the future. There we go. You all know I love that OJ case. I'm excited. Anyway, okay. Rashi Rice. Rice actually talked about his off-season issues in a youth football camp on Saturday, and was speaking to the kids. He told them that he learned so much. He said, "All I can do is mature and continue to grow from that. This is a step in a better direction for me." That being all of his off season shenanigans. Um, Accidents and stuff like that happen, but all you can do is move forward and walk around being the same person. Try to be positive so that everybody can feel your love and your great energy. And I just like I appreciate the sentiment, but um I guess I'll just summarize it by saying ask Henry Ruggs how moving forward after um speeding your car can turn out what that looks like. So anyway, even more football. Oh my my god. Okay, Kansas City. The parade pew pew, as we know, a grand jury has indicted Dominic Miller, who's one of the adult men being charged. Um, so they indicted him for 4 charges on Friday. Um, yeah, and the grand jury indicted him on Friday. I just said that, and then he pled not guilty on Monday. A grand jury indicting things, all that really means is that okay, my brain went south. Sorry. All that really means is that there's enough evidence to prove that it could be the case, so they can move forward with the trial. So they ruled out like cases, except for the Karen Reed trial. Apparently, they ruled out most cases that don't have like enough evidence, assuming you don't want to do like preliminary hearings and stuff like that. There's reasons why people pick the grand jury, but yeah, that's what that means. So anyway, he pled not guilty. And then one of the juveniles who were charged at the event, the parade shooting, the 16-year-old child, AM, those were his initials that we've been calling him by, also charged. He was released for home detention last Thursday, and the judge also is deciding not to try him as an adult. They made the decision last week too. The conditions of his current detention will be wearing electronic monitoring. He'll be subject to drug testing. He cannot have a firearm, and he will undergo family counseling and mental health treatment. So that's great. Apparently, he's very open to receiving this help, so we love that. The child began to jump up and down and hugged his lawyers at the news, and the judge reminded AM that if he violates the judge's ruling in any way, he'll be back in custody until his August 15th adjudication, where his fate will be decided. So he'll be back in court in a couple of months anyway for the final sentencing. His mother was quoted saying, "My baby deserves to come home so he can show them what type of kid he is. I'm still gonna whoop his ass though." uh, Maybe the family counseling is a good thing. And his family cried and hugged each other over the judge's ruling, so lots of excitement on all sides. Dak Prescott. The news is a bit obscure, but there appears to have been a hearing set on his extortion lawsuit that may or may not have happened on June 11th. It's not clear if it was set for June 11th or if on June 11th they set one, but we will find that out. And when we know, you will too. Okay, what is with Antonio Brown over here and female basketball players? He seems to really, I mean, no female is safe from his criticisms, but especially female basketball players. AB questioned Brittany Griner's gender this week when she released baby news on Wednesday with her wife Cheryl. They're expecting, I think that they're. I'm not quite sure how, like if one of them is pregnant or if they're not. I don't know, but there's a baby on the way, and so that's very exciting. Anyway, that's how he responded. And then that same vein, he tweeted Bush League when it was announced that Caitlin Clark won't be on the Team USA women's basketball roster for the Summer Olympics. And in this woman mocking trend, he also came for Christian Rock when he found out that she is supporting the father of the child, the rapper Blueface, while he's behind bars. In an Instagram live, she actually was complaining about Blueface arguing with her too much, despite her standing by his side, being faithful, and paying all his bills. AB said, I need a dumb ass beauty like that. Not gonna lie. I won't say anything else about that. Okay, the Canadian Junior Hockey League 5 that we have pictured there by the Scarecrow. The lawyers for the 5 men met virtually without their clients on Tuesday to talk scheduling. If you know a whole lot, we're seeing a lot of trials or been involved in the court system or whatever, worked for them or whatever. Scheduling is like half the battle. So they were in there just talking about scheduling. And the pretrial motions are scheduled to be in September. So that's very nice. Just around the corner. Maybe the Karen retrial will be done by then. Okay. Jackie Robinson, they're on the top. A quick update. The new statue will be unveiled in Wichita on August 5th. So that's exciting and pretty quick. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Okay, and this is some breaking news here. Okay, it was released like 20 minutes before I wrote it down, so it's probably been a lot longer than that, but not that much longer. So, the case that, and this is wild because last week we were recording that he was going to trial on Monday. This week he went to trial on Monday, and by today, Thursday, this late afternoon, he had been acquitted of any rap charges. So, he was found not guilty on the charges. So there we go. And Jonte Porter over here, 3 other men have been charged for being involved in the Jonte Porter gambling scandal, along with Bruce. We talked about Bruce last week. And 3 of the 4 men hail from NYC, with 2 being from Brooklyn, and 1 man is from Pennsylvania. So we have some justice. All right, Christian Horner. Ginger Spice, this is Spice E, has opted to use her maiden name on a new video with Dior, so that one went in trouble in paradise. Anyway, meanwhile, Horner can't keep his yap shut about teammates. And allegedly, his drama with the Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko is resolved, but that remains to be seen. So we will look. It's a quick update. Ginger Spice cut him out. Who knows? When's he gonna get fired? Nobody knows. All right, Ryan Garcia. For all the deets on his June 8th arrest, you can read my article on theforkball.com. It is titled Boxer Ryan Garcia arrested Saturday, June 8th in California, and I can go into super detail on that, so read it there. But after on Sunday, June 9th, he spoke out that next day, saying, y'all know I've been dealing with incredible stress, pressure, and now the devastating news of my mom's health. She's been diagnosed with breast cancer. That's my addition. He just said my mom's health, which is breast cancer diagnosis. In the same statement, he said, it's always love. Thanks to my fans for always supporting me. Love and compassion wins always. Garcia also has done I had a ton of tweets that make Antonio Brown sound really logical. I mean, he said Britney Spears in it, so I'm staying out of it. But if you want to see that whole kind of deranged situation, you can check his Twitter account for all of his messages. I mean, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're talking about him feeding grapes and orangutan in his passenger seat of his really fancy car. So you know what you're kind of getting into there. Okay, so Lucas Paqueta, we've been talking about him quite a bit. Lots of scandal, but he's still going to be leading Brazil in Copa America. So he's getting one more big shot to play, possibly, depending on how the scandal works itself out. But if you're a Lucas fan, you will still be able to see him playing Copa America. So there you go. All right, so this made me excited. Blessed be the fruit. Vinicius Jr. is getting some justice. A Spanish court sentenced 3 men to 8 months in prison on Monday for targeting the Real Madrid player with racist chants in a road game in Valencia last year in May, when they were calling him primate names and sounds and things like that. Via Twitter, Junior said, "I'm not a victim of racism. I am a tormentor of racists." And I was like, yes, this is such a cool tweet. Okay, amen. Say it again to the people in the back. Love that. Love the justice. Wish we could have that all the time. But anyway, like, a really exciting way to go out. Those darn yawns. And one final story is VAR is here to stay in soccer. Because at the Premier League's yearly general meeting, the 20 teams opted to not stop using VAR like every other sport ever. So, sorry, you're gonna have to stay in the 21st century with the rest of us, soccer. And that has been kind of a scandal or an ongoing issue. So, yes, there was talk about actually fully booting VAR, and that will not be the case, so that's nice to hear. And that is it for this week. All right, it was great researching and being able to chat with y'all. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, and let me know what you thought. Did I miss anything? Are you shocked by anything? Just any general opinions. I want to hear them all. Okay, great. Thank you. See y'all next week.